These are AristoCraft E9 locomotives. These are Southern Pacific units with the so-called freight pilots on the front. And I've been able to successfully fit them with Datum Precision coupler boxes with Kadee couplers from 789 assemblies. These are center set couplers. And also you can put in the newer type Generation E Kadee 901s, or the ones from the 907 kit. These ones that are in here now are the 789s, and you can see here, and the biggest dilemma I had was to rebend the pin for the front pilot for clearance there. On the rear, or I should say the tail end of the locos, and these are coupled back to back here, in tension here, they are pulled apart a little bit. You can see there's a slight air gap between the diaphragms, and the center set couplers are mounted in the rear, and in compression the gap kind of closes up a little bit. This becomes more critical on a curve, and I can demonstrate that in a little while. And these are the plates that I've fabricated. They're made out of 20 gauge, in this case, galvanized sheets that I bought from Simpson's, or bought on an Orchard Supply or a Home Depot store for Simpson's strong ties, and just cut them with between a hacksaw and using tin snips and a drill for drilling holes. That extra holes that you see in there, there's only 3 holes in a triangular pattern. The one on the top is meant for the front pilot, and the one on the rear is meant, or the one on the bottom here is meant for the rear of the loco. And these particular couplers here are the newer Generation E types, and you can see I had to bend the pin on the upper one for the front pilot. And it turns out that those couplers, the new Generation E, the pin doesn't have to be bent as severe as the older types from the 789 box. So I'll run these locos on this test track, and we can see how they work, how the couplers work. So I'll run it forward, or in the left direction here. And it turns out that the loco on the left is a little bit faster than the loco on the right, so it'll tend to open up the diaphragm gap a little bit here as it moves to the left. This is on the straight section of track here in my test track area, up in my loft above the garage. And I'll back the 2 locos further back here so I can switch the turnouts. Here's the turnout, and these are our train line R7 turnouts, and one of them's been modified. This one's unmodified, and one of them's been modified or upgraded with corrections that these have problems with. And Axel Tillman, the owner, is supposed to provide new beddings for them based on that. So I'll run the 2 locos here over this turnout section, which essentially is an S-bend the way I have it switched here. We can see the action of the diaphragms here. Have to stop it so it won't go too far. So in the so the left loco tends to go a little faster than the right one, so there'll be a little more separation, a little more forgiving action between the diaphragms here as it traverses the S-bend. go back the other direction again. And you'll hear a little bit of snapping action here, since the left loco is kind of pushing against the right one. But all considered, it's pretty forgiving. Now the prototype, you can see these have 3 segments in the diaphragms on each loco. The prototype actually has 2. And in some cases, in later use of these E8 or E9 locos, they've actually eliminated the diaphragms. But I believe these should work out just as left as is. Now, normal operation would be on 10-foot diameter or greater. It looks like I can put these on which I've tried, just statically on a 8-foot curve track, and they'll couple together fine. But as to operation on 8-foot, it might be advisable to shorten the diaphragms a bit. So I'm going to switch the track here. And I'm going to go over this Kadee magnetic uncoupler that's in the track here. And because the left loco goes a little bit faster than the right one, I can actually uncouple them and prove that or illustrate that the uncoupling works. If I time it right here. I don't think I went as far as I should have. A little bit more. There. Now if I reverse it, you can see the uncoupling successfully worked here. I've turned the locos around so that they're coupled nose to nose, and we can see that here. And again, the loco number 6051 on the left operates a little bit faster, so I can demonstrate the uncoupling action when they're nose to nose over the Kadee uncoupler, the magnetic uncoupler device. And there you can see that it works. See the deflection there. And they will have coupled together since they went past the magnet. And since they're in tension, they stayed coupled over the magnet, as normally expected. That ratcheting sound is from one of the units, the one on the right, the front truck, so maybe it's going to develop problems with the gearing. I'm going to now switch them over the simulated S-band using these Trainline Art7 turnouts, and we'll see the coupler action with the units coupled nose to nose. I can only go so far in this setup, or the train will run off the end of the setup. Now this is with the loco's intention, the faster one pulling to the left. Slight difference. Try it once again. And this time they'll be in compression with the faster loco on the left, pushing the one on the right just a little bit. The pins have to be bent such that the bottom is close enough to the magnet like the original, but also goes under the lip of the pilot of each loco, coupled nose to nose, otherwise it will get stuck. And it works quite well here, since I bent them in a certain way. Bent them like the one on the top here that you see in the video. There's no binding. It's almost prototypical in the distance. Now I'll run them on the straight section. So this is in compression again, with the loco on the left running just a touch faster than the one on the right. Now I have to switch directions. Now they'll be in tension as the momentum power supply gradually builds up, and so I'll have to give it a little more power here. Now they're in tension. And there you have it. Now I've coupled the E8 or E9s together in elephant style. That's nose to tail, or tail to nose. And we'll try it here in tension. Again, the loco on the left, 6051, runs a little faster than the one on the right, which is 6048. Two road numbers in SP that Aristo made so far. I'll run it forward here. Get the coupler action in tension. Or in compression, rather. Now I'll run it in tension again. Run it forward one more time here and try to get a top view. And we'll see if we can uncouple it here. And there it uncoupled, since the unit on the left goes a little faster than the one on the right. Now they've coupled, since it went past the magnet, and stayed coupled, since their intention is, as is the intent of how this Kadee uncoupling system works. Now I'll try to run it on the S-bend here, elephant style, nose to tail the nose. This is probably the most severe test here. And again, this is the freight pilot version that I've done. The passenger pilot version, like the Union Pacific one, is going to be a little more challenged because of the extra protrusion of the front snout. So let's see if I can get the action here on the top. Intention. Try it in compression again. And there's no touching of the diaphragm against the nose, which is good. And we'll get it in tension. Coupler action. And I'll try to get the side view in compression. Here we go. And there we have it.